Yes! Hello, world! Your sisters are here, ready, open, and as fabulous as possible. These are your sweets, Makeda
and Melanie.
And you're now listening to Gurl.
Girl, what?
Now, you know, every episode starts with the drink of today. And today's drink is...
I don't know if y'all can hear that. We are doing it different than we normally do on a Sunday evening because we have a special guest in the building.
Mm-hmm.
And she is a non-alcoholic drinker. And we don't mind that because the drink of the day is a tea. And we call it the Girl What Special because this is something Makeda and I often drink around this time. And the tea we're drinking today is a vanilla chai tea, actually. And the ingredients are black tea, spices, natural and artificial flavors. And we normally just drink this tea when we want to chill out.
And just so that you guys know, we don't promote brands. We don't have any sponsorships. We're working on it.
Yeah.
And so right now we're just letting you know what the flavor is. So it was a vanilla chai tea, delicious. And Melanie puts a little love in it, if you want to talk about that love portion.
Yeah.
No sugar, but it was one of the creamers.
Yeah.
And that's you didn't have to share all of it. You didn't have to give all the tea, but it was good. So if you get a chance, it's on a cool evening, first thing in the morning, try some tea with creamer. Yeah. No sugar. Trust us, believe us, you'll love it. And so, in news.
Yeah, in news.
You know what? I don't have any.
I got a lot.
I know you have a lot.
We switching roles tonight. Normally I have nothing. You have. Okay, so, current events. Well, I wanted to talk about your race.
Oh, yes. Yesterday was the 26th annual Race for the Cure with Coleman, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Team Fabulous, which was my team,
yeah, man,
was out there. We had a blast.
Paparazzi was after.
I mean, we were blinged out. We had our little glitter. We had our boas, and I had my tutu and crown. Like I had such a good time. And you know what?
What?
No lie, we did have paparazzi. Quite a few people took pictures. Two people so far said that they saw me on the news. Someone from my class today, and I think someone else that mentioned something. But we were everywhere. But we had an amazing time. As you guys know, I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and so we both are. We both are, and they were, in the building, and we had an amazing time.
Yeah, it was fun.
And you know what I really liked about it, that we saw other sorors, or at least since there were prominent, we actually had our shirts on, and those that were either with other vendors or other organizations were kind of like making collaborative efforts, and maybe next year will be even bigger.
Shout out to the Delimers.
Oh, Delimers! Listen. Delimers, they always come through. They have the best team. Probably, if they're not the largest, they're like somewhere around the second or third largest. I think there's still maybe one other group that's bigger than them. So shout out to Carla and Marlon Hill. I was a part of their team last year, and since I had my sorors that was going to help out this year, I said, let's see what this looks like. I had a great time.
It was a good bunch.
Yes.
Okay.
And regular news.
Oh, wait, before we go to regular news.
Yes.
This Saturday is the ALS walk.
Absolutely.
In honor of my mother.
Yay.
So we have a Smile for Mommy team. And so we'll be taking lots of pictures and having another good old time.
I know. Saturday. Another early morning.
And I'm going to put the link in our comment section for all of our things for your walk, because you can still donate.
Yeah, I think you still can.
And you can donate to the Smile for Mommy team for ALS. And we are going to be a part of Meg's Shine.
Yes!
She has us broadcasting from there.
I'm really excited about
featuring
that.
Girl What? And so that'll be cool.
Yeah, she was an awesome guest. Was that last week?
Last week.
Time goes by so fast when you're busy. I had class all week. And so I didn't really pay attention to the news. I didn't really pay attention to anything that was really going on. I was just trying to get through. And I'm exhausted right now. But guess what? Got a burst of energy. We're going to make this day happen. Today may actually be a longer show than usual because
we got a lot to talk about.
We have a lot to talk about in the energy. The energy is here.
And I want to get her perspective
on all of it. We want all this tea.
Yes. ALS links, Shine links. It's a women empowerment event. So if you're interested, the tickets are on sale on Eventbrite. Plug, Meg. I got you. Told you I got you. Last night I had a date night with my husband.
I heard and saw.
Yes, we went to see Marshall.
Ooh, you know, I saw a bunch of posts with the flyer, but I was confused for a second because I was like, is it an R&B concert or like, I don't know. I saw Marshall? It and I didn't know.
I'll be honest,
I had no idea.
The flyer was kind of misleading.
Oh yeah,
it didn't look like. I guess because his dress up and the picture that they chose of him, he looks like an R&B artist.
I thought it was like some new artist that I needed to like. Yeah, I'm missing it.
Listen,
it was a throw off that it was a movie.
Have you seen the movie yet?
No, I'm going to see it this week. I was actually invited.
Awesome.
I've already been told. Vernon Martin from Florida Memorial. He actually has his sports radio.
Oh yes, Vernon.
So I've been performing on there since the inception of it. But he's actually going to be starting a segment at 3:30 on Strong Arm Radio.
Okay.
So
great.
So he messaged me last night. And he was like, "If you're available at 3:30 and then at 9:06 p.m., if you could spit a poem for Marshall." And I was like, "Okay, cool."
That's awesome.
I recommend every African American, from the oldest to the youngest, see this movie. Okay?
Well, that's what Tom Joyner said. Tom Joyner said it is a PG movie, 13 and older. He said, but I'm gonna keep it real. Take the 9-year-olds up in there too. Yes, that's what he said. And if Tom Joyner is telling you that, it's serious.
And I'm not gonna tell you who makes the cameo, but since we're talking about 305, it's some people from the 305 that represent in the movie. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Great.
Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. All right, and before I talk about the lovely Camille Walker, who was a guest on our show, 2 weeks ago. I think, when we were talking about the Miami Northwestern dancers.
Oh, yes.
She was actually dancing last night on all the major stations in the telethon for Puerto Rico and Caribbean Islands.
That's awesome. Was she in Puerto Rico?
No, they were here in Miami.
Is that where Jennifer Lopez was? Okay, so it was local.
Yeah, when I got home, and I turned on the TV, it was on.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then we talked about it. Me and the gentleman at church this morning, we talked about it. And he said that he was like, oh my gosh. He said that line was crazy. He was like, I've seen Whitney, sell out that stadium. He was like, but this was, I said, well, you got to keep in mind, one, the artist and then the cause.
Yeah, and that's really what it's about. And I don't know if a lot of people know, but it's a huge Puerto Rican population here. It's so many different diverse Hispanic populations here. A lot of people only assume that Miami is filled with Cubans, but that's not true. I mean, even my former candidate, who's now a state senator, she's Colombian. People don't know that. I mean, from all of the different Caribbean islands and countries, it's so broad. So I'm glad.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad that Miami took charge.
Seemed like Miami got, but we're gonna get into that.
Yeah, we're gonna get into all of that too.
So our guest, the lovely. I gotta talk about the lovely for a quick second. The lovely 45, who did not know that he is the president of the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Listen, he doesn't know he's the president over Puerto Rico. You think he was going to know that?
I wasn't sure of my emotions to be more concerned about that or when Sarah Palin did not know that Africa was a continent.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
They probably right.
I'm
but
serious.
Sarah was not a president.
I don't care. I don't care. She
that's a mess.
She was on the road.
You did not know that Africa was a continent. I'm sorry, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And you want to run our country?
Exactly.
And he's running the country.
Exactly.
That's scary.
That's why I said I didn't know which one was worse. The fact that she wasn't president,
and she was the former governor of Alaska.
Exactly.
Like, these are the people that's like in office right now, and I'm sitting here thinking, like, why am I not running for office if they're
and
doing
then he
it?
make another crazy statement this week.
He does
that
it every day.
The people over there that are helping cannot be over there forever.
Oh yeah, he made
something
that
like
comment. Oh yeah. He's not made any of those type of comments about Florida or Texas, and God knows what's going on or what his reaction has been with the California fires. I mean, I haven't really, I've been off the grid news-wise, and it's there's so much, and then when you have someone that's just unstable, that's running the country, it's scary, folks.
Scary.
Let me point out something really quick. I have XM radio. I advise everyone. I love our local stations, but sometimes I want a little variety. And since I don't technically have cable at home, I do take that moment, my drive, wherever I'm going to listen to MSNBC or CNN or whatever. But there was a commercial on that had an urban view, I think it's called. So it sounds like it's more of like a political commentary show, but it's driven to African Americans. Yeah. I don't know the name of the host, but this man was going.
I listened to it one time when he goes in.
This man was going off on people.
I need to hear that.
Listen,
he goes in.
I was just like, what is going on?
He's like the black version of what's the white guy?
Howard Stern.
Oh, wow.
He's like a black Howard Stern,
but like political and knowledgeable, and like, so for example, it was a caller that called in that was from let's just preface this. This is going to be a longer than usual show, so I'm just giving y'all the heads up. And so a caller called in from like Arkansas and said to the host something like, I am just a person that's that just has a little community college education. So, how can you tell us that we need to contact our congressmen that have this high society education, something like that. This host reaction.
I was here to say, I already know the host went in. Because I only heard him one time, and I was like, I can't do him every day.
I couldn't. I just started listening to it like 2 or 3 days ago.
You're really still changing my poetry.
He straight cussed this dude, like, it's XM radio. But you know what? Because I'm always listening to MSNBC and CNN, no one's cursing on these shows.
Exactly.
Honey, he went off. And said, "Are you friggin'
Let me know what that station
Are you friggin' kidding me?"
He says everything that everybody wants to say.
Exactly. Everything that someone wants to say. And the dude was, I guess, the caller was still on the phone, and he like at the end of his rant, he was like, "Hello, did you hear me? Did you hear me? Get the F off of my line with this." Like, he was pissed. I understand him being upset. But him cursing, and at the same time layering it with facts and information. Like, we can't be afraid to use our voice. And at the end of the day, like, I think we all forget that President Trump works for us. It's not the other way around. And I think he's still trying to wrap his own sense or self around the fact that it's not him being able to dictate what can happen and how can happen. I mean, it's really crazy that while he's not really saying much about the Second Amendment, of course, Republicans are strong supporters and advocates for bearing arms, but you're really trying to take away our First Amendment rights. Like, you keep attacking the media, and their job is to be transparent and disseminate information to us and tell us, listen, unbiased information. Is the media in its current form have issues? It does. But I think with the, still with the ethics and what journalists are ethically responsible in doing and reporting to us, and then you have a president that keeps saying stuff like it's fake news and don't believe this and it's kind of like, what country do you want the United States to turn into?
I'm still laughing at the idea that he said that if
that man.
He said that if Hillary Clinton would have won, he would have said it was rigged.
Yeah. Of course, he would have said it was rigged. He would have had a new platform, and that would have been his next thing for the next 4 years, while he's building his Trump empire in Russia and everywhere else, because that's what he was trying to do. I mean, I don't know if I'm sharing anything that's new, but he didn't think that he was going to win.
Well, he said it. He did it as a joke.
Well, guess what? Jokes on him and us.
They're definitely on us. Absolutely. Definitely on us. And everybody's been asking, well, where's Hillary? And why isn't Hillary saying anything?
What is there to say?
I would sit back and say, America, this is what you want.
This is what you want.
Listen, Michelle Obama tried to tell us. She told us. Straight up.
What is there to say? I am whatever Hillary decides to do. She don't have to come out and say anything. Not a word, because she said it all during the campaign. Y'all wasn't listening to her?
Exactly.
Or she didn't have enough energy behind how she was saying this is not going to be the right person that's fit for this office. Were people just not paying attention? Or they were just so enamored with the entertainment value of what Trump was bringing? Well, guess what? Jokes on us. And those that have pre-existing conditions.
Yes.
The joke is going to continue to be on us.
That's right.
The jokes is going to continue to be on minorities. The joke's going to continue to be on immigrants. The joke is on all of us, and we will see. This isn't funny. This is it's really not funny. But it's kind of like, what do you do when you have to wake up and this is the reality?
Speaking of loose mouths, Eminem. I'm still waiting for our lovely.
Everyone's waiting for the response.
He's not going to get a response because it's his own game.
But did you also see
told him about his behind?
Well, that gave it to him real. That gave it to him real. He knows that if
he would trust me, if it was Method Man or Ludacris or Talib Kweli or Mos Def
or T.I.
Or Nas, or even go in your old school rack of hip hop artists, Remy Ma, Ice Cube. Not so much. I'll be honest, not really so much Luke.
No,
but definitely the ones that I named.
Yes,
trust me, they would have got a response.
Yeah, that's true.
Or
Snoop, yeah. But because it was someone who is of his complexion, giving it to him raw and the truth. He knows he's being, a J.A. Yeah. He knows that. Exactly. He knows
that's what he's known for.
Exactly.
And I think that I don't know.
And at the end of the day, you can't fight truth. Yeah. I'm sorry.
He doesn't want that fight.
It's been to where you've had two people that they're going back and forth. And eventually you got that one person that just shut down and don't say nothing, because at the end of the day, you cannot fight truth. I don't care how much hard you come at it. You cannot fight truth. Truth is going to always win. And especially if it's a hard, piercing truth.
Yes.
Yeah. There is a
difference.
There is a difference. Yeah. You can have just regular truth and it really won't bother you much. But when it's hard, piercing truth where it got to your gut,
he was spitting
you gonna
fire.
bow down.
He was spitting fire. Okay,
it was.
Okay,
listen to that.
Oh, prepare yourself. We'll play it for you after the show.
Yeah,
I will play it now, but it's too vulgar. I can't. I'm not gonna do it. And one last thing, we talked about Nelly last week.
Yes.
Well, the anonymous woman dropped all alleged rape charges against him.
Wow.
And she said if they don't drop the charges, she's not showing up in court. I'm just going to say go see the movie Marshall. That's what I'm going to say.
Exactly.
Go see it.
Okay.
Exactly.
Go see it. All right. So you heard her voice. We're going to let her introduce herself.
Yes.
We have a special guest in the building. My favorite poet. She is Miami grown, Miami born.
Really?
She is like she is the hustler of South Florida, baby.
I like it. I love it.
And she's here. Butterfly.
How you doing, girl? I love it. It's an honor. It's a privilege to be here inside the cave. I just love this. And yes, I have to plug the tea. I'm loving the tea. And yeah, no, I'm not a drinker. Maybe, Daddy is the cause of that. My father was a barber. Actually, my father was known as the barber to the stars. I'm known as the poet to the stars. With regards to tributes and either opening up for them. Under my belt, I made Maxwell take his glasses off.
Nice.
Charlie Wilson refers to me as the woman with words. He even actually was like, I need you to write me a song type of vibe. I had the opportunity. This was heaven for me because I tell anyone, whatever entity that you're in as a profession, seek and aim to meet the trailblazer of that. So if you're into psychology, seek to meet that psychologist that is world renowned, that has changed many of lives from young to old. So with me, I'm into poetry. I love poetry. I had the opportunity to actually receive a postcard from Maya Angelou, thanking me for thinking of her, to send my work to her. I am very close to Nikki Giovanni. She literally has all of my product, all of my albums, all of my books.
Awesome.
She literally responds whenever I send her something, especially when I send her a card for her birthday. But the highlight was being able to serenade her.
That is...
When she came, we're talking at least about maybe 16 years ago.
Wow.
She came and did a book signing at the African American Research Library in Fort Lauderdale, and they actually let me open up for her.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's amazing.
Let me see, Fantasia. I made her cry. Brian McKnight, he literally had me saying, "Don't break, don't break, don't break, don't break, don't break, don't break." And who else?
We're getting some.
She got a smile on her face now.
We just had a little tea break. Sorry.
And so it's been an honor. I had the opportunity to serenade Betty Wright on her 60th birthday party.
Recently?
No, on her 60th birthday.
Well, how old is she now?
She should be about, I want to say 63, 64. Because this was at Piano Bar.
Okay.
She was great.
And,
she's awesome.
Yeah, she wears it well. Even with that, stage-wise, I've had the opportunity to open up for Monica 4 times. I've had the opportunity to open up, for Betty Wright, Stephanie Mills, Denise Williams, Joe, Shirley Caesar, Cece Winans.
My goodness.
Hustler, I'm telling y'all. Every day I'm hustling. The hustler of South Florida.
I don't have management. I do everything myself, all of my bookings.
That's a strong woman right there.
I literally have not traveled in 3 years because home literally keeps me busy. Like, literally keeps me busy. I have, everything is word of mouth. I still carry my business cards.
Oh, yeah.
But everything is literally word of mouth. I never made money to issue because my God takes care of me. He gave me the gift. So I wanted to make sure that he didn't give it to me, but that he was able to trust me with it. T.D. Jakes said it best. I heard him Friday on Hot 105. Actually, no, yesterday with the Hot 105, Tom Joyner, right back at you, and how he expressed that whatever your profession or what you're doing, if it's not succeeding, that's because you're doing it for the wrong reason. And he expressed in so many ways, you know, if you're doing it, you know, for the benefit of self, that's why it's not going to grow.
Yeah.
Because you are here for people. So whatever you're doing is supposed to be for the community and for the people. And I run into bricks all the time. You know, I'll be honest, you know, God bless and rest his soul. We used to bump heads all the time.
Oh, yeah.
He's another awesome poet.
He would say to me, man, Butterfly, you out here messing it up for us poets because you do so much stuff free and pro bono, so ain't nobody gonna respect our craft and our talent or whatever. And I had to let him know. I said, the reason why y'all doing this is not the same reason I'm doing this. Yes, I have business like everybody else. Yes, I have, you know, things I want to do just like everybody else. But at the same time, if I die today or tomorrow, I can't take that money with me.
Yeah.
I can't take those material things that I purchased with that money with me. That's just it. Whatever the money amount is that I quote to you, I'm already spending it in my head before I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I can take with me that elder that comes and tells me, you spoke stuff I be feeling inside but don't know how to say.
Wow.
I can take with me that individual that comes and literally puts their arm around my neck and chokehold me and tell me, you the reason I came out tonight. I can take that with me. Or that can journey with me from day to day. Because see, what people don't realize is that when you're strong, people don't see you as someone that can be weak or that you can fall apart. And that's not the case. Like literally, I had a young lady, I don't know what the situation was, but I had a young lady that saw me, you know, out of character, and she came up to me and she said, Butterfly, she said, I didn't think you could get mad. I'm going to be honest, I called her the B word.
Oh, no.
And I was like, I'm human just like anybody else. She was like, no, you're a butterfly.
And that reminded you.
Mercy. And see, that's what happens, you know, when you are put on a pedestal or you portray yourself in a particular light from the beginning that the person met you and they see you that way constantly, they don't see a detour from that. And if you do, it's shocking. Yeah. It's like when you're watching the news of that person, you know, who shot up and killed his whole family and they're talking to the neighbor and it's like, I would have never known. My kids play with his kids. He comes out to get his paper. They have parties at the house. They invite us. You know, that kind of thing. But people eventually break because you're human. Yeah. You know? But I've dealt with the, you know, how can you survive? Or I love the shock factor values. You know, my favorite one was when I met Susan Taylor. 2 years ago at Florida Memorial. They have this event that they travel to it's called like the college series. Yeah. And they travel with, you know, named celebrities. And so that year, you know, she had come. And so, you know, when it was getting ready to wrap up, Dr. Rosin Clark-Arty, she said, you know, we'd like to acknowledge our, you know, poet of the community, you know, our laureate here, you know, that's here. And she was like, if we had any time, you know, I would let her, you know, come and do something. I said, I only need 2 minutes. So sure enough, the gentleman who's the coordinator of the event, he said, okay, come on. So, you know, I wrapped up the program. So it's over and, you know, I'm getting ready to leave out. And Susan was actually in conversation with someone and, you know, she told me, she said, excuse me. She said, you know, come here. So I walked over to her. She said, she said, who are you? I said, Rebecca Butterfly Vaughns. She said, what do you do? I said, I'm a full-time poet. She said, make me see right. She said, wait a minute. You mean to tell me what I just saw you do up on that podium people pay you for? I said, yes, ma'am, for 15 years. She's like, I'm impressed. She's like, I'm impressed.
That is amazing.
And I get that all the time, you know, when I'm having conversation with someone and they're like, what do you do? I say, I'm a full-time poet.
Wasn't that what Maya Angelou was? Yeah.
I say, they say, wait a minute, full-time people, like, they pay your bills. I say, I survive.
And that's all that matters.
Okay.
And, so, and it's been a journey, but it's one I would take all over again. I literally would relive these 20 years.
Because you're working in your passion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it's about.
Exactly.
It makes a difference.
Yeah, it does.
So some of you might ask, because tonight's episode is about, is Miami making a comeback in terms of the entertainment industry and the business world? So some of you might ask, why did we choose Butterfly for this topic? And what popped up into my head, how this topic came about, is last Sunday I was watching the BET Hip Hop Honors, and as you know, they honored finally Luther Campbell.
Yes.
Luke. And so
after
35 years, exactly. And there were, other people in the backdrop from the South Florida area. So why did I choose Butterfly? Our show is designed to highlight and empower what's going on positive in the South Florida community, in the Black community. And we wanted to use this show as a venue to be able to expose other people in other parts of the United States to the things that are going on in Miami that people may not, it doesn't hit the big screens, or, people don't really know our local artists. And so when I started to think about that, with everything that we see about Miami now, when it comes to the entertainment industry, when it comes to the business industry, in my own opinion, I feel like we are not being represented for who we really are. So I brought Butterfly on because, like I said, she's like one of the biggest hustlers in South Florida in a positive way that I know. Wherever my husband, and we've mentioned before in the show, my husband is a recording artist. Wherever we are, when Butterfly is there, we're like, okay, we're in the right spot. So I asked her to come on the show because I kind of have always enjoyed her poetry. I follow her movement. And I think that because, like she was saying, she's met so many people and she's always everywhere. Today alone, she had four stops? 4 stops. This is the 4th stop. Who else would represent, being that you're from here, who else could we have on here that will represent South Florida and be able to have this discussion with?
No, I don't really have much to add to it. I will say when I was an employee with Luke Records and Films, early 2000s, it was a lot of that, my feeling and desire of wanting to be in the entertainment industry and feeling like the entertainment industry wasn't receptive or really honoring artists from South Florida. Then Luke was celebrating 25 years in the music industry. And I think back then there were conversations about, when is he going to get some type of recognition? I know that we were in the process of the beginning processes of negotiating what eventually became his reality show on VH1. And again, I remember, the early days of Rick Ross coming through the studio, and Pitbull, I think, had just left and was, on his own, and just being myself, being on the outside and inside of what I saw, and from my own perspective of seeing Lil Wayne and them coming to Miami, South Beach. Let's get that straight. South Beach, not necessarily Miami, or the parts that we all know and grew up around. And saw Diddy, and that was that's when not Swiss Beats. What is the other big time producer? Well, was Scott Storch was like humongous back then, and Terror Squad was like doing its thing here. But to me, and that was the thing. Like, we had great talent, homegrown talent that. When I looked at Money Mark and CO, and he was on the show, and we have Trina and Trick and all of these. Jay Shin is say my husband. Cannot forget. But just from my perspective, seeing Michael Sterling. I mean, there's so many. There's so many different layers. But what I saw was folks that were from New York and other places coming to Miami and making a big commercial difference.
Okay, hold that thought. And I'm going to tell you why. Hold that thought. Okay. Because I want to play this video clip.
Okay.
That's kind of going to lead us into what you're about to say.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Great.
And I think this will be a good backdrop. So I came across this video clip, and it has, I think her name is Issa from the show
from Insecure.
I love that show. And I thought this quote, and if you follow me, you probably saw me put the quote up on Instagram, but I'm going to play it. So ladies, y'all listen, and then we're going to talk about what she said. Okay?
Great.
And how it applies to our community. All right, here we go.
Talking about, like, I was listening to one of her interviews, and she was like, we have a tendency to try to, like, when we network up. And it really is about networking across, like who's next to you, who's struggling, who's in the trenches with you, who's just as hungry as you are. And those are the people that you need to build with. It's not about like finding, hitting up, like calling Tyler Perry, like how can I work with you? Calling Ava to be like, how can I be on? It's about calling your college mate. It's about calling your coworker and saying, hey, you trying to do this? I'm trying to do this project. And literally every project that I've done, every friend of mine has been in some way, shape, or form because I needed them, because they were losing down. They're not even part of the industry in many cases, just to help me make it work. And I would do the same for them in a heartbeat. It's just about, I guess, passion and hunger.
Do you think? All right. So, with that said, does that happen in Miami?
No.
We would add a couple of words before the no, but we're going to keep this PG. But no, that is the one thing that we are not strong in as opposed to other cities and other states. Atlanta, Ludacris did his thing, but he went back and he pulled up.
Mm-hmm.
New York, they have their artists, they do their thing. And even that's just it. With these other cities and states, the mainstream radio station supports their local artists.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, I step on toes because I talk about the elephant in the room. Nobody wants to talk about the elephant in the room. Everybody turn their head. No, I talk about his tusk. I talk about the smoothness of his skin. I talk about his ears, his feet, everything. I acknowledge the elephant in the room so the elephant can know that his presence is appreciated.
Of course.
So with that being said, I am a person of protocol.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say protocol, I mean in the sense that if you and Mel helped me along the way, and then all of a sudden, either one of you reach out and say, "Hey, Butterfly, I got this event coming up, this charity event coming up. We need your talent. I need to be there."
Period.
Ain't no, well, let me see, or I'll get back to you. Ain't none of that. I need to be there because you helped me on my ground.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So when I say protocol, I mean it in the sense that when you have homegrown talent in your community and you do a first annual anything, your homegrown talent needs to be a part of that first annual.
Of course.
Exactly.
So I'm saying that within the sense that next year it's going to be what annual Jazz in the Gardens? What annual Jazz in the Gardens is it going to be next year?
I think it's like, 11?
I think
11 or 12 year?
Next year? No, I think it's going to be 13.
Is it
Wow.
13?
I think it's going to be the 13. This year was the 12. But that's what I'm saying.
12 years,
And
13
then
years.
finally it took that long for Betty Wright to be on the program.
Ooh.
You see what I'm saying? She should have been on program between
every year,
the first or the third.
Or every year,
the first or the third. And that is the problem with South Florida. South Florida local talent does not get the same respect and acknowledgement as the other cities that acknowledge their home.
Their own.
But even with myself, when I knew that this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, I say what would confirm that is I needed to travel. Because see, home is going to save face.
Yeah.
Because they got to see you. You know what I'm saying? Either run into you at the gas station, run into you at a church, run into you at McDonald's. They're going to save face, But when you step out of your hometown and go somewhere else, you got to keep in mind, they got their people who they root for.
Of course.
So you got to bring it. So I did a tour in 2003. It was called the Wings of Words Tour. And I went to 7 different cities, and then I went to the Bahamas, which is my roots, and I went to Canada. And that was my confirmation that I'm doing what I was born to do. And that's because of the response. I kept a journal for each venue. And, I would have the people sign, and literally getting on the plane, I would read everything, and I would be crying at some of the things that people wrote. Like when I did Canada, and it's like distant-wise. So one of the patrons, she wrote, "You were worth the drive. You were worth me driving 2 hours." So when you see stuff like that, that makes you push harder.
Of course.
That makes you love deeper in what you're doing. But it also does hurt.
Absolutely.
That a stranger in another city
Yeah.
would drive 2 hours to see somebody, which is you, that they've never seen before, but the way you were promoted struck their curiosity.
Of course.
That they're like, you know what, let me gas up, let me take this 2 hour drive.
But,
whereas someone here locally who's known you since you came out your mother's womb won't drive 30 minutes.
And it's only like that. It's only like that in Miami.
Listen, and from my perspective, like I said, that my little, account of when I was working in the entertainment industry and saw Rick Ross uproot, JT Money uproot, Money Mark uproot, and Pitbull not really doing the stuff here, Flow Rider, again, I was in the hip hop scene and saw them leave South Florida to get respect and to maybe see the big record labels and intermingle with all of them and, now have full respect of the industry now. But it was like if they would have just stayed here, it wouldn't have popped off for them. I have to be honest. It would not have popped off for them. Diddy coming down here and is able to do Revolt. I don't know if we had spoken about that.
Yeah, that was one of the things.
And come down, and other artists come down here and do How Can I Be Down? But I think one of the promoters had a Miami connection. But either way, when I see and know that the Miami talent here really could not elevate themselves remaining here in South Florida. I said, it's something about South Florida.
I don't know what it is. Like, even the promoters here, they don't promote their own.
No.
They promote everybody else. Like you said, Revolt, Diddy. Now Diddy is running our city. Now, no disrespect to these people. Like, I have respect for them, but this is our hometown.
This is where
Khaled is running it. Khaled not from here.
At all.
And Khaled is bringing all his people that he grew up with or that he's connected to.
That's what they're going to do.
And we're allowing them to take over.
Pinellas got in office. That's what he did. He brought all his people.
But when you go to Atlanta,
because that's what they do.
Listen,
they sold up. You can't take over Atlanta.
You can't. You can't. Let me tell you, when I first started doing poetry full time and I was traveling, my stomping ground places to go was Atlanta, St. Louis, Chicago, New York, and D.C.
14 seconds. Part 2 is on its way. Part 2 is on its way.
You're
Tune
listening
in
to
Girl What?